Aloha, everybody. Shalom. Chag Sameach. It is Pesach, Passover. We have Easter coming up, so we're in a pretty cool time right now, pretty auspicious time. This is the full moon activation, and as you guys know, if you've been following these videos, you know that they don't actually have anything to do with the moon other than the fact that it's used as a measurement of time. These videos have been going on for years now, and we meet every single week. So if you end up enjoying this and it's your first time, please follow my page and join us whenever you feel called. I'm just going to go ahead and begin to shuffle as you all tune in. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Where in the world are you? I'm tuning in from Phoenix, Arizona today. Typically, you see me tuning in from Sedona, Arizona, but I'm spending time with my family for the holiday. And as you know, I like to travel, so sometimes these activations happen in other parts of the world. Really, they're always happening in many parts of the world because when y'all tune in, you're taking that activation to where you are. And we create that web of light, as we're doing right now. Sweden, San Diego, Kauai. Beautiful. Let's see where you're tuning in from. Kentucky. Awesome. Love and light to you, Amanda. So notice how we're all tuning in from different places. Montreal. We're creating this web of light. Go ahead and share this video in your favorite groups, maybe groups about the new age, self-improvement, yoga, whatever. Any groups where you feel somebody might appreciate this message. Any family or friends you want to share it with as we begin to go live now with our message. Or maybe you just want to relax and fully receive this right now and share afterward. So go ahead and tune into the deck and remember that these cards and the characters on them are only representing pieces that live inside of you. They're angles or angels of awareness that exist within the universal mind. So connect with that. Connect deeper beyond the deck of cards. Connect to the archetypal energies that are the foundational pieces that make up all of creation. Connect to that. Connect to this, because it's inside of you. Whatever it is you've been carrying today, maybe you've been carrying something all week, maybe something heavy all month, let it go just for this moment so that we can open up to receive the message here now in the biggest way possible, all together as we unite in this here now moment. So this is the full moon activation. And whatever's going on with the moon is always reflecting something that's happening back of all things, something that's happening within us. So for the full moon, we're receiving the full picture of something here, something we've been getting into all month. We're now coming to this point where we are able to see the full picture. So what is being revealed? What is being revealed? And we're going to find out through two questions. What is the current challenge we're experiencing? And who's the ally? So go ahead and send your energy to the deck. See yourself here now with me. See yourself holding hands with all these amazing people that are tuned in and all the people who will tune in after this video is posted. All connecting here now. The current challenge, as we receive the full picture, as the full picture of our situation collectively and individually is illuminated right now. This is the challenge, as that picture is illuminated. And who is the ally to help us through this challenge? And when we flip these cards and we put the picture together, all we're doing is really scrying or extracting a message from the archetypes. And there are infinite ways to do this. So if you scry or if you extract a message from this reading, share it in the comments, share it with us, let us know the angle that you're seeing it from, because together, when we share the perspectives, we see the bigger picture. So here, I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm going to attempt to extract a message for us, but please feel free to join in the comments. So the current challenge to begin. 5 of Pentacles. And I see so many things right away with this card. Remember, this is collective and individual. So remember that you can apply this message to your personal life as well as our collective life. So that's also politically what's happening right now, because there's a lot going on there right now. And check out the image on the card. There's a couple representing the two polarities within your own self, because when you're looking at a card, you want to see yourself as all of the characters, and those different characters are just representing different aspects of yourself within the situation, because there's only one here. It's you. Okay, so these are ultimately representing the two polarities within you. And they are clearly struggling, or they've been struggling for a while. Their clothes are tattered. They've got no shoes on. They're walking in the snow. Clearly, they've been through hardships and they're struggling. But the tree of hope is alit in the window of the church there, or the temple there. And it's showing that we have to maintain our hope. We have to maintain that frequency of perseverance. Whatever we have in our lives right now, this is the message, whatever we have in our lives right now that we fought really hard to have in our lives, right? Whether that's a relationship or a job or a project you've been working on, whatever is currently a big part of your reality right now that you've really put your blood, sweat, and tears into, it's not a time to give up on that. And what I mean is, I think, deeper than it sounds, okay? Because you could leave a relationship, that doesn't mean you're giving up. Walking away from something doesn't always mean giving up. So you really got to look to the energetics behind the material details of the situation here. Sometimes walking away is what needs to happen in order to not give up on yourself, on some part of yourself that you were having to compromise for that relationship or for that job or for that project. So if you are needing to let go of something right now, it's not necessarily that you're giving it up, because remember, all things are connected. All things are one in the beginning and in the never end. So you're not ever really walking away from something, because all things are one. And this gets really tricky as humans in this world of appearances. We look at something and then we walk away from it and we feel there is now a separation or a space created. But when we rise above that and we transcend that way of thinking, we can really start integrating the truth of what really is into this material world. So it's like, yeah, everything is one, but there's still the separation. No, everything is one, so let's heal what doesn't need to be separated, and recognize that what appears to be separated sometimes has to be that way, because ultimately it's not really separated. When you look at the fabric of reality, all things are connected. So you see, separation or division, the definition of separation or division is perceived very differently when you ultimately accept the connectivity of all things. Then separation or distinction becomes purposeful, because we know that truly they're never actually separated, right? That's a little tangent there. But going back to the message of this card, the current challenge is, whatever you've worked hard to keep in your life right now, know that it's not a time to let it go. Keep going, push through it. Even if you ultimately end up leaving that relationship or leaving that job or stopping that project, it's not a time to do so abruptly. The only way out is through. So either you got to see this project through to completion, or you have to work through the nitty-gritty to be able to end one project and begin another in a way that's graceful. Okay, so abrupt endings right now, not finishing what you started, those are going to be the challenging things that come up for you right now. You're going to want to walk away. Some of you are going to experience this as wanting to walk away from a certain relationship or project or job. And then some of you are going to feel a deeper dedication to something that you recently wanted to walk away from. Okay, so we're all at different stages of this process. There's like a timeline, and some of us are still in the beginning of that sequence, and some of us are closer to the future sequence, which is coming in a couple weeks for the new moon, right? Because next week we have final quarter and then the new moon. So we're all going at different paces. So where are you at? What in your life have you been really struggling with? And are you ready to finally accept it and be fully dedicated to it? Or are you ready to dedicate yourself to transforming the details of it so that you can transform your old life into something new? Whatever it is, whatever that thing is that you've been working hard on, it needs your attention now more than ever. And whether you're going to leave it or continue it is not the priority focus. The focus is more on, how are you showing up fully for whatever that thing is? How are you showing up fully? Because remember, you're never actually walking away from something or going closer to something. That's all an illusion. Time and space are an illusion. So That's not actually the most relevant detail that we should be focused on. What we really should be focused on is how are we showing up? How are we showing up for that thing that's been challenging? Because there's no point in showing up half-ass, okay? There's no point in showing up half-ass. Either show up wholly and wholly, fully show up for whatever that thing is in your life that you're finally needing to deal with once and for all. If you're so focused on losing something or gaining something, you're missing the point. All things already exist within, and nothing is separate. So let's just pull ourselves out of that limited thinking. Let's pull ourselves out of that box of fear of losing something or anxiety about not gaining something. And let's just see what we have right here, right now, that we've been giving our energy to, and ask, how are we showing up our best? And if we're not, how can we begin to? Or how can we start to undo some cords gracefully so we could take our energy back to be able to show up fully for what is actually meant to be in our lives here and now? Okay, but remember, the challenge is going to show up for some of us as not wanting to finish what we started, not wanting to work through things. Do not run. Perseverance is key here, especially those things that have been the most difficult for you. Make a list, take out a paper and a pen and write down what has been the most difficult for you to think. Maybe like a thought program you've been trying to put into your consciousness or into your awareness, but you've been struggling with reprogramming a certain aspect of your awareness or your belief systems. Okay, so it could be thought, or you could be challenged in speech. What are you struggling to say? What have you been unable to say? What are you struggling with in speech the most? Okay, communication. Also actions. What have you been struggling to do? Maybe you've been lazy. Maybe you need to work out. Stop complaining. Get up or do the workout. Or maybe you're like, God, I just don't know how to rest. I just don't know how to rest. It's so hard for me to... Take the rest. Do what you need to do. That's the point. Whatever has been hardest for you, whether that's invoking more energy, creating more fire, or maybe that's creating more water, tapping into more of the water element. It doesn't matter. Everybody's at a different place, but whatever you are struggling with, start there. And I encourage you, speaking of the elements, I encourage you to think of elemental magic, because everything is made up of the elements and you are one with this field. The true magician or alchemist knows this. So how are you looking at, maybe you can simplify, right? Because I know some of you are sitting there going, I don't know which element I'm struggling with the most. I don't know what my biggest challenge is. Where do I even start? Start with the 4 elements, because that's just 4 elements. You can take fire, earth, water, air, and you can ask, what do I need to invoke more of? And we complicate it so much. I mean, a child could hear this and be like, okay, I know what to do. But as adults, we want to complicate it. It doesn't have to be so complicated. For example, even if you know nothing about how to do elemental healing, just ask, could I use more fire, more heat, more passion in my life, more movement? Because that's what fire is. Could I use more water, more calm, more flow, more soothing energy? Could I use more air? Maybe I need to be more mentally stimulated. Maybe I haven't been having intelligent conversation enough lately. Maybe I haven't been utilizing my intellectualism lately. Maybe I need more of that. Or maybe I need more earth. Maybe I need to take my shoes off and just go outside for a second. Maybe I need to put my feet in some water. Maybe I need to get my feet in the dirt. Maybe I need to put my hands and my feet on the ground and just breathe. Simple. And if you want to know more about elemental magic, my first book, Royal Path 1, talks a lot about how to access elemental magic in the chapter on Arcanum 1, the Magician. So that is also available. You can reach out to me if you're curious about elemental magic and want to know more, or feel free to ask me any questions. Just PM me. So start there, you guys. 4 elements only. There are only 4 elements, so start there. Which one do you need a little more of? And there's no wrong answer. Because, hey, all the other elements are within each one. So whichever element you choose as your access point to healing is simply the access point into the other elements, because they're a circle, they're a wheel, they're a cycle, they're all one. They're seemingly separate because we live in this world of separation or world of appearances, So ultimately you can choose any element as your tool. And when you begin healing from there, you access the flow of all of the other elements in your magical practice. That might be a little advanced for some, but take it in. Okay, so that is our challenge. Whatever you're struggling with right now, face it head on, fully commit, do the work. Remember, you have no reason to fear leaving something behind if you're giving your best, if you're doing your best. Remember, nothing's actually separated. So even if you have to walk away from something, there's no away. There's no away. All the work that you do, all the light that you cultivate goes with you beyond this grave. And that's the only thing that matters, because that's the only thing that is eternal, is the light that lives in your heart. Okay, who is the ally as we face these challenges head on? Da, 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 da. The king of the spiritual path. The one inside of you who is the archetype that is the master of wands, fire, spirit. This is the king on his throne holding his staff. That's like his spine, right? The wand or the rod, that stick, it represents like a tree or like your spine or like the kundalini. He's the master of it. He's wearing the crown and he's on his throne. He is the king because he's gone through all the steps to get there. He lives in you and me. All of these characters that are either men or women are just representing either the masculine or feminine force. In other words, the active or receptive forces that live within all things, including you and me. So this being the king, it's referring particularly to the intellectual and active force, the one that involves this particular element that we're pulling here, wands, fire. If you want to know more about the minor arcanum cards and the court cards, the royal cards, it's in my new book, Royal Path 2. If you want to know how to put this king's crown on, check it out. It's in my book. And it's simply put in there too. Anybody can understand it. I made it so that all beings could simply access it. Okay, so going back to this, he is our ally. If you want to bypass all the doubts and the fears and the complexities of your monkey mind, your ego mind, you can do a more simpler meditation in order to access this archetype. You can simply see yourself as a king of wands sitting on a throne. And don't judge yourself. Whatever image comes up, allow that to be. Okay, you'll want to think, what is wands? Fire. Okay, so see fire. Think red, orange, yellow, fiery colors like the card here. The green cape, you're tying it in nicely, giving a little bit of that earthly element to ground in that fire. Green is the color of Anahata, heart chakra. Okay, so you could be visionary, so long as you don't overjudge yourself or overanalyze your own visions, because that's how the ego mind will sabotage your manifestation. Okay, so simple vision. Just simply thinking of the King of Wands will help you to invoke this frequency. King of Wands, the master of the suit of wands, the master of one's own spiritual path. He's in there inside of you. He is the one who knows what his spirit wants and needs because he listens to his queen, right? First he was the page, the knight, the queen, then the king. So first he was the page. Let's go there. He was the page of wands first. He was getting new inspiration and kind of trying it on. Maybe a little clumsy, maybe a little too spontaneous, or okay, maybe. But he learned his lessons there when he acted on that inspiration as the knight. Okay, so the page received the inspiration, a little clumsy with it. Then as a knight, he acted on it. Then as a queen, he or she reflected on all that has unfolded, came to the heart of the matter, because that's who the queen is, and then came to the king. You following me? So you have to go through these stages, the different archetypes, before you can get to this level of mastery. But the one speaking to us right now is the master himself, the guru within. This is the one in you, again, who says, I know my path. I see my path clearly. No one else can make decisions for me, okay? This is the one who is empowered with his strength of will, the one who knows what to do, how to act on that will. It's the one who, if you're really accessing the depth of the initiation that's offered with the King of Wands, then you are accessing the one within who is aligned with the will of the ultimate one. The true master, the true King of Wands, is the one who has aligned his small and personal will with the will of the divine. And then, not only aligns that, but acts on it. Because it's masculine and it's fire. It's that Mars, that active energy. It's not the one who sits and reflects like the queen. It's not the one who sits there with, exploring the heart of the matter, diving deep. It's the one who has retrieved that, received that, and now taken it up and out into the world to actualize something of that light and that love at the center. Okay, so this is our ally as we go through this. So just to sum it up, tune in to that one within, that King of Wands, that one who wears the crown and knows what to do with your spiritual path, knows what steps you need to take to grow. Okay, because the king doesn't say, oh, I know I need to say yes to that job, or I need to get that girl, or I need to get that guy, or I need to have this child or buy this car. It's nothing material. It goes beyond that, and then the material unfolds from there as a consequence. The true king focuses on the energetic operations behind the material details. And that true king says, I see what I need to do for my spiritual path. And by do, I'm talking about manipulation of energies, magic behind the scenes. I see my next lesson in this tarot, royal path. I see my next lesson on this path. And I know that archetypally, it involves me making a sacrifice, right? Arcanum 12, the martyr. Or maybe it involves me making an important decision, Arcanum 6, the two paths, aka the lovers. Or maybe it involves me realizing that I've been working against myself in some ways, Arcanum 15, the devil, aka the black magician. So this is the thing, the true king is focused on the archetypal world beyond the material unfolding. He doesn't say, I know what I need to do, meaning I know what I need to do physically. That's the easiest. That's the outermost layer. Of course he knows what to do physically because he's concerned with something even deeper. He's concerned with something going on behind the scenes. He sees the world of causes and not just the world of effects. The world of effects is the easy part. So we're funny when we sit here and we think, I'm the king of my path. I know exactly what to do and what to say to this person and how to drive that car and how to lift this heavy thing. Like, none of that matters. The true king, we can really be proud of ourselves and say, wow, I'm really accessing that archetype, which, by the way, the work is never done. But we can begin at least to self-reflect and say, yeah, I'm really getting this King of Wands archetype down when we can observe that we've consistently been focused on the world of causes and not the world of effects. When we can observe ourselves over time and say, wow, I've been dedicated to this path of focusing on the unseen world first. And I feel very confident in my decisions spiritually first. And I feel like I'm aware, I'm intuitively and intellectually aware of my spiritual path and what the trajectory is of my learning, what lesson is coming next. When you have the eye to be able to see what lesson is coming next, and you have the will to choose thoughts, words, and actions that are going to put you in that position interdimensionally to be receptive to that lesson and to actualize it. That's when you can look at yourself and say, wow, I'm really getting to know him. I'm really getting to know the King of Wands as he exists, not only within me, but within all things. Okay, so just a little summary, you guys, as we move through those things that are our biggest challenges right now, as we look at where have I been putting my most effort into? What have I been putting the most effort into and what has been the most challenging? And we begin to face those things head on. The King of Wands will remind us what is really priority, okay? So for example, if you're going through a challenge, you're like, damn, this thing has been a struggle. I'm going to face it once and for all. The King is going to let you know when to speak, when not to speak, what to say, what not to say, when to say it, when not to say it, what to do, who to interact with. All of these questions you have as you move along through life each moment. You don't need to answer them now, okay? He's with you every step of the way. So as you move through each step of the way, you're going to consult with him. He's your ally for this week. He's the priority ally this week, okay? So as you move through your life and you ask him within the questions, he's going to guide you. He's going to say, as far as this challenging situation you're dealing with, it's better to not say this right now. Like, it's going to be for our highest good, spiritually, fire, to not say that. So he's going to help you with that passion and that fire. He's going to show you where to direct it so that you don't burn your world down, so that you only lift it up, so you only light it up, so you only enlighten it with your inner fire. That's what he's going to do. So he will help you work through your most challenging situation in a way that's going to maximize the potential for not only your spiritual growth, but your psychological growth. Okay, he's the priority focus. The reason he's showing up in this reading is because he's the one for this task. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything is in divine order. So we picked him to guide us through this challenge because he's the one. Think about it. If we're moving through our biggest, most challenging situations, the ones that we're most mentally and emotionally invested in, even physically, materially invested in, who's the best one to check in with? Obviously, we go straight to the boss, the King of Wands, because we want to go to the boss, who is the king of every suit, the master of that element. And we want to go to wands because as we move through this really challenging situation, we want to call upon fire. We want to call upon spirit because we need the strongest power to guide us through this sticky material situation, lest our emotions or our thoughts take us more into that entanglement. Doesn't it make sense that he would come up? The deeper you look into this reading, the more reason you'll see for this message, the more reasons you'll see why this message is so relative right now. So I encourage you to go deeper with it, meditate on it, share your perspectives, like I said. Okay? So who's the one you want to turn to as you go through this most challenging situation? Straight to the boss, the king of the spirit, the one who lives within you and knows what to do, knows what to think, say, and do for the highest good of not just you and those people that are involved in this trying situation, but for us all, because remember, this is a collective reading. So looking at it collectively, let's take it there, and then we'll be done with this activation for today. Looking at it collectively, we're all going through this right now. The world is going through some big struggles, but we're making it through, right? Just look at the big C, for example, okay? This global crisis we experience, leading to many revelations. And so we're struggling, but we're still here. Think on a global level at least, okay? Before you go to the galactic. Let's focus on our Earth here. We're all going through this right now. We're all struggling to keep that hope alive, but we're doing it. We're here, we're alive, we're together, we're watching this message live here now together. Okay? And we collectively, as we move through this struggle and as we stick to that hope, we collectively are calling upon the collective King of Wands, because there is a collective King of Wands. These archetypes exist multidimensionally. They exist within you. They exist in all things. So they have a microcosmic image, and they also have a macrocosmic image as they relate to the one, logos or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So we are calling collectively upon the collective King of Wands within the universal mind. We're calling upon that one within our shared collective who is the master of our collective spirit. Can you see that? Because I can feel it very clearly. So together, here now in this moment, as we face our biggest challenges and as we turn to those places in our life where we don't feel so hopeful, as we turn to face those doubts and fears and that lack of hope together, right? What is it in this world that together we're feeling the most hopeless about? Is it the big C? What could it be? Whatever you can think of, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. This is a ritual for some very deep subconscious healing anyway. So whatever you can think of, what is one thing you can think of that we collectively are struggling to keep hope with in our world on this earth? And then how can we enliven that hope? How can we bring that hope back? How can we see the spiritual purpose in what has unfolded, and how can we make the best of it? That's kind of the psychology of what these archetypes are sharing with us here. Okay, so we're going through a struggle. It's hard for us to maintain hope. We're going to call upon the King of Wands of our collective spirit who knows what to do with this sticky situation and knows how to get us through it with the most grace, with the most ease, with the least amount of effort, but the most amount of prosperity and success to follow. And I love these comments. I'm so excited to read through them. Please share your perspective on the message. I'm really looking forward to hearing all the different angles that this message was received today. If you feel that there's somebody who could greatly benefit from this message, or if you feel that there's someone who could help us to spread this message even farther, or help us to activate it even farther, somebody you know in your life that's very powerful, go ahead and send it to them. Again, it could be somebody who's weak, maybe they're feeling stuck or depressed and they need this message, or somebody who's feeling extra strong and they maybe want to pour that strength and what's overflowing from their cup into our portal that we opened today. And also thank you guys for pre-ordering my book. I'm really excited. The shipment's coming in any day now, and I've been away for a little over a week, so I'm heading back home shortly after this video, actually, and maybe my books are waiting for me. But if not, they'll be here in a couple days. Thank you for the pre-orders. I'm really excited to see who's interested in the second book, because the first book, I think, was more for anyone. And the second book is for all ages. However, I believe my second book is more focused on people who are actually interested in divination and using the actual cards. Okay, so if you want to know about the main archetypes and how to access them from within yourself, the Royal Path one is awesome. If you want to go deeper and you want to start to examine more of the occult symbolism within the minor arcanum of the tarot, book number 2 is also for you. And it's very concise. It's not a very long read. If any of you have the Brotherhood of Light tarot, my Royal Path books 1 and 2 will be incredibly helpful, because there is technically no guidebook other than some really heady stuff that's out there for you to be able to explore it. So my book is kind of a simple manual to be able to navigate the ancient Egyptian symbolism of the Brotherhood of Light deck. You can really pretty much use any deck with my books, so that's kind of cool. And I do have a deck being made right now, and that is something I'm really excited to share with you guys when it is completed in hopefully the near future. If you would like a copy of either of my books, or if you have a special request, or if you are wanting a one-on-one personal reading, please reach out to me. Thank you for opening this portal with me. Chag Sameach, happy Pesach, happy Easter, happy weekend to you all. Enjoy the last bits of it. And I will see you. Oh, one more thing. I will see you for Shabbat next week before the next activation. But if you're not yet a part of my private group, I have 2 private groups on Facebook. One is called The Royal Path, and one is called Shabbat Crew, Shabbat. The Royal Path is where we kind of continue these kinds of archetypal conversations in private. We're really building an awesome community there, so please join us. And the other group, Shabbat Crew, is all about Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism, and I post in there every week and on the special Jewish festivals, kind of giving you rituals and inspiration to join in the Kabbalistic magic, no matter what faith you are, no matter what age you are, man, woman, doesn't matter. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and join Shabbat Crew. All right, you guys, thank you. I love you so much. Shalom, aloha, shaloha, salam. Peace.